much for that very nice welcome. My wife Carol, 54 years, is with me tonight. She is the wife that I have, and we also have 5 children, 18 grandchildren. And most of them, guess where they are tonight? In Iowa. But it is a real delight to participate in a very important event, and I think you're fortunate enough to have a lot to say about which direction the country goes in. You know, there's been a lot of talk during the debates about who's conservative, who isn't, but I just want to take a minute to describe my concept of being conservative. Conservative to me means small government and following the Constitution. I think that would solve our problems a whole lot if we just had individuals go to Washington, take their oath of office seriously, and we would solve a lot of problems, because we've gotten into our problem because we've had too many people not obeying the Constitution. The government is not supposed to run the economy. The government's responsibility is to provide for private property ownership, contract rights, and guess what? They're supposed to provide for an honest money. If we followed the Constitution, we'd only have gold and silver as legal tender. We wouldn't have a central bank, and we couldn't print money to subsidize big government. That's why we have big government, is because we resort not only to taxation and borrowing, but if we need money, we just send it to the Federal Reserve and they print it. So that's a very, very important issue, because it is the Federal Reserve that causes the business cycle, causes the booms, and it causes the bust that we have today. And it's a prolonged bust because this is a very big one. And we have to retrench and get our economic system back in order again. But also, government should be limited in the personal matters. They're not supposed to be involved in our personal life. Our lives come from our Creator as a gift from God. And our liberties come from our Creator. Therefore, the fruits of our labor should be ours. It should be ours to spend. But also, personal habits, personal religious values should be your decision and not the government's. So this is a... So in foreign affairs, I think there's some people that get mixed up on foreign affairs. They call it conservative the more money you spend overseas. I think it's conservative if you follow the Constitution and never go to war unless there's a declaration of war and people get behind it, fight it, and win it, and come home. That's what we need. Today we're spending $1.5 trillion overseas. We're the policemen of the world. In the year 2000, George Bush ran on a program of no nation building, a humble foreign policy, and don't get involved in the internal affairs of other nations. That's a good policy. That was a Republican policy in the past. It was certainly Robert Taft's policy. It was the founders' policy. That is what is authorized in the Constitution. Just spending money on military, as Eisenhower warned, subsidizing the military-industrial complex, doesn't make us safer. What we want is more defense, not more meddling in the affairs of other nations. We're in 130 countries. We have 900 bases overseas. We're getting ready to get involved in another war in Syria. We're getting ready to attack Iran. We need that. We need that money to be sent here to take care of the people who aren't getting their medical care, might not get their Social Security checks. What we need is constitutional government, limited government. We want small government. The purpose of our government has always been the protection of liberty. And that assumes responsibility on us to take care of ourselves. For instance, it's parental responsibility to take care of education, not the federal government. We need to get rid of the department. But there's been a lot of talk on foreign policy, and I recognize the challenge. And tell you where I get my reassurance on my foreign policy. Not only do I know it's constitutional, why should we fight wars that aren't declared wars? How can we fight for our Constitution if we avoid using the Constitution? But where I get my reassurance from the active military people. If you look at the donations that come from active military people, I get twice as much as all the other candidates put together. That sends a powerful message. They know being over there, fighting these wars, not winning the wars, and dragging them out. 10 years in Afghanistan, $4 trillion of debt that we accumulated over these past years. And think of the tragic circumstances of the families disrupted, the lives that we have lost, and the people coming back injured and post-traumatic stress syndrome, and we're having an epidemic of that we care about our military, we would be much more cautious about how we go to war. We want a conservative constitutional government, which means the government is small, the people are large, and people assume responsibility for themselves, and believe me, the world and ours, we would be better off. That is the road to peace and prosperity. I thank you very much.